Every time you grab cash from an ATM, or pay a bill online, or even order a pizza through an app, you're depending on one invisible idea, the relational database. It's one of the most important inventions in computing, but most people don't even realize they're carrying one in their pocket. Open your iPhone contacts and you'll see it. A database storing your contacts, their names, numbers, and addresses. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how this simple structure has become the backbone of nearly every modern system, and why it matters for anyone learning IT. By the way, I'm Jeff from Nougat. I've been a software developer for over 30 years, and now I help people learn IT by breaking down complex topics in plain English. So let's jump into it. The easiest way to understand what a relational database is to picture a spreadsheet. In fact, at its core, it looks a lot like one. So let's build one together. Imagine a blank spreadsheet grid. This is exactly what a database table looks like. A database table stores information about one type of thing or entity. For example, a company might have a database with one table for customers, another for products, and another for sales. Let's think about our table for customers. Across the top, we'll add columns for customer ID, first name, last name, email, and phone number. And most of these are obvious. They're the details you'd normally store about a customer. But notice this first one, customer ID. That's a special field. We add it to give each customer a unique number or ID. And in a moment, you'll see why that matters. Each column is called a field because it defines a specific piece of information that we want to track. Next, we'll add a few rows of data. And each row is called a record, one complete entry in the table. So this row represents one customer and the next row is another. Now let's take another look at that first column, customer ID. This is called a primary key. A primary key makes each record in a table unique, which prevents duplicates and mistakes. For example, two customers might share the same name, but their customer IDs will always be different. Without a primary key, the database wouldn't know which record is which. Now, imagine one of these customers visits our store and makes a purchase. Suddenly, we need to track not just the customer, but also the product they bought, and when they bought it, and how much they paid. One option would be to jam all of that information into our customer table. Name, email, phone, product purchased, price, date of sale, and so on, but it creates problems. Every time a customer bought something new, we'd have to copy all of their details again. If their name changes, say they get married, we have to update it everywhere, and we'd almost certainly miss a row or two. Good database design solves this with a simple rule. Each table represents a single entity. So we'll make 3 tables, one for customers, one for products, and one for sales. Just like our customer table has a customer ID, the product table has a product ID, along with fields like product name and price. And the sales table has its own sale ID, with fields such as date and amount. These IDs, or primary keys, make each record unique within its own table. But here's the problem. The sales table, by itself, doesn't tell us who made the purchase or what they bought. To fix that, we add 2 new fields to the sales table, customer ID and product ID. These are called foreign keys because they link or point back to the primary keys in the customer and product tables. So instead of copying all the customer or product details into the sales table, we just store their IDs. And that single link keeps everything consistent and prevents duplication, and it makes changes super easy. Update a customer's name once in the customer table, and it's instantly reflected everywhere that the customer is linked. That's the genius of relationships in a relational database. One simple idea that makes massive complex systems possible. Now, in our demo, we've been typing directly into the tables like a spreadsheet. But in the real world, databases don't work that way. A real system can contain thousands or even millions of records, far too much for anyone to manage by hand. Instead, we interact with databases through apps, like logging into a website, filling out an online order, swiping your card at a reader, or using an ATM screen. Behind the scenes, a programming language called SQL, Structured Query Language, takes that input, talks to the database, and makes the changes. SQL is what adds new records, retrieves information, or updates existing data. You don't need to master SQL right now, but it's worth knowing. Every major relational database in the world uses SQL as the standard way to communicate. And that brings us to the bigger picture. Relational databases aren't just for a handful of records. They're built to handle millions of entries and thousands of people interacting at the same time. They are what let banks check your balance instantly at an ATM. Airlines manage seats on flights around the world. Hospitals keep patient records consistent, and online stores process orders in real time. In fact, almost every system you interact with daily is powered by relational databases working quietly in the background. And if you're learning ServiceNow, here's the key takeaway. The entire platform is built on this same architectural foundation. So if you can understand relational databases, you already understand the foundation of ServiceNow. Every application, whether it's managing incidents or tracking assets or automating workflows, is really just a set of tables, fields, and relationships powered by a relational database. In fact, ServiceNow has over 5,000 tables under the hood, all working together using relationships to deliver the platform's capabilities. So when you use ServiceNow, you're working with these tables every day. Lists show you groups of records, and forms let you view or edit individual records. And behind the scenes, SQL is handling the work of storing, retrieving, and updating the data. So to wrap this up, at its core, a relational database is just tables, records, fields, keys, and relationships. But from that simple structure, we get the systems that power the modern world, including ServiceNow. If this explanation's helped you and you're interested in learning more about ServiceNow, I've put together a free ServiceNow CSA study guide that makes learning the concepts simple and clear. You can grab it at the URL below, totally free. And if you're serious about building a career with ServiceNow, take a look at the CSA Masterclass and Prep Hub. It's designed to teach you the fundamentals of the platform step by step, and along the way, prepares you to pass the CSA certification exam with confidence. You'll find it at the URL below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like more explainers like this one, make sure to subscribe and stick around. I've got plenty more coming your way.